Hi, I'm Dr. George Yancey. Let's share some paradigms. Paradigm I'll share today is Christians thriving in academia. So I think about a story that actually happened to me when I was an adjunct. I was teaching a course load, sociology of intro sociology, but also sociology of race, ethnicity, and sociology of religion. And I ran across someone we were just talking, he's also in the sociology department, and he informed me that there were people who were disturbed that I was teaching sociology of religion. They feared I was going to be biased. Look at me. I'm African American. I'm teaching sociology of race and ethnicity. Do you think I don't have a bias there? I believe that these people probably would not feel that an atheist teaching sociology of religion class has a bias. Trust me, they do. Just like me. All professors have biases. Why is my bias so important? Well, to be fair, it's so important to them because being a Christian in academia is a challenge. Nonetheless, I believe we need Christians in academia. Obviously, as a Christian, I would like to see the perspective that I have go out more through other Christians. But beyond that, I think it's valuable for the purpose of viewpoint diversity to have more Christians in academia. Now, I'm not saying there aren't any, but a lot of times when Christians go to academia, they try to hide their perspectives that have been shaped by their faith out of fear that they'll be punished for it. Unfortunately, there's some evidence suggesting that that could be the case. I did a video on Christianophobia in academia. It's real. I'm not going to deny that. But we need more Christians in academia from a Christian point of view, and I believe from an academic point of view as well. So I want to make a video, maybe one that people can give to friends they know, talking about how Christians can thrive in academia. I think I've done fairly well. I'm not the most famous academic. I'm not the most prestigious. Don't pretend, but I've published enough, and I have a pretty good position, and I think I've done fairly well. And having done that, I want to offer something to people, to Christians who want to go into academia. So let me give some advice. All right? Before I get into advice, if you enjoy this, please consider subscribing to this channel. Just press that button. Or if you just like this video, just go ahead and like this video. Or if you have advice yourself, leave in the comments. Hope you enjoy this. I've created this channel to create sort of a space for us Christians who are not comfortable on the left or the right. This one doesn't deal with that directly, but if that's you, please come join us. All right, so what's some advice for Christians who want to go into academia? First, and I would kind of say this about anyone, but especially as a Christian, because your agenda may not completely fit, depending on where you're at. I mean, if you're going to mathematics, it really doesn't matter. But if you're going to social sciences or humanities, your agenda may not fit the paradigm of that discipline. So as much as possible, think through what your research agenda is going to be. So you can come into academia, taking the coursework, doing the readings, that'll fit that agenda. You may want to study, as I've done, studying on anti-Christian bigotry. That's fine. You can do that. But that's going to be a little bit more of a challenge. So think more carefully about how you're going to study that. Maybe talk to some other academics in that field. If you can find some Christian ones, fine. But if not, other academics, how can I study this in a viable manner? If we're being in humanities, social sciences, it's especially important to come as prepared as possible. Okay, second point. If you're going to a different city that you've not lived in before, which you probably are, you probably got a place, a different city. Look for social support as you go to this new place. be it churches, ministries, networks, especially people who may be in a similar position that you are, a Christian academia. But short of that, find a good, strong Christian group, ideally one that contains a lot of people who are fairly intellectual, because that's going to be where you're going to be at. And that support's going to be important. You want people who are going to support you, who are going to encourage you, because you may not always get encouragement in academia when you veer off the beaten path, to help keep you strong in walking with your faith and in your studies. Look deliberately for social support. Don't go there and then say, well, I'm too busy to go to church. Go to church. You don't have to be active in your church. You may not have time for that, but go to church. Find that support. Okay. Another thing, I studied apologetics intensely before I went into academia because I knew there would be an intellectual challenge. And I wanted to know what answers were. Now, I'd always had some interest in apologetics, but I made it very clear that I was going to really be immersed in it. And I didn't study it so I could get into arguments, debates. That did happen every now and then, but that's not why. But for myself, to feed myself. It also helped me to learn how to think in a way that's critical of not just my aspects of my faith, but also aspects of the sciences, to give me a more well-balanced perspective on things. Going to academia is going to probably change some of the ways you see things. Not the core of your faith, per se, but some of the ways you apply it. And that's okay. It did for me. But you also wanted to have a good understanding of the nature of science and your faith. And apologetics can help you to do that, especially if it's a good program. So there's plenty of books out there, plenty of videos out there. Think about how you can do better in apologetics, how you can be better prepared for the challenges that lie ahead. Okay. Next point. Christianophobia is a real thing, and it is in academia. But do not run to playing the victim role. Anti-Christian hatred. I have had people come to me and tell me stories of professors trying to discourage Christians from being part of academia. So, I know that's out there. My attitude is, if you're going to stop me in academia for being a Christian, I'm going to force you to stop me overtly so you can see your bigotry for what it is. I'm not going to give up, nor am I going to see myself as a victim. I'm going to move forward no matter how you go about it until you stop me. I'm going to force you to stop me in a way that's illegal, even. So, don't be the victim. Have your support system. If you want to gripe, complain, that's fine. But don't be a victim, and don't get into this victim mentality that you can't accomplish things because you have people who don't like you as a Christian in academia. You may not run into that, but you could. You could run into other subtle ways in which your Christian walk is blocked in academia. Don't let it stop you. Don't live out a victim mentality. My final suggestion is you need to be ready to work hard. Don't use it as an excuse. Well, I'm a Christian and therefore they're against me and that's why I'm failing. You need to work hard. Be prepared to work hard. As hard or harder than other individuals. You offer unique ideas they may not have thought of. And that's fine, but just throwing that idea out there is not sufficient unless you've done the intellectual rigor to think it through. The implications of it, how you test it out or how you articulate it. You need to do the hard work. Do the grind. Everyone in academia has to do the grind. Don't find a way to excuse yourself from doing the grind, from really engaging, dealing with the hard work that has to be done in academics. No excuses. If they're going to stop you, they have to stop you overtly. Not because you haven't worked hard enough or you're engaging in victim mentality. Christians can succeed in academia. Not just myself, there are others. Doesn't mean that the challenges aren't there. I believe if God wants you in academia, He'll give you what's needed. So let me close with this story because I think it illustrates this point. I remember when I was, I believe I was I don't know if it's graduate school or undergrad, but the group I was in went to a homeless shelter to minister. And it was very enlightening. It was very challenging. And I remember at the end of the session, some people were like, wow, this is really challenging. And, seeing these people who are desperate and trying to minister to them. And the director said, yeah, I know it's challenging, which is why I don't allow any group to come more often than once a month, because people can't challenge doing this day in and day out. Then someone said, well, what about you? You're here every day. And he says, I know, I'm called to this. And God has given me the abilities and grace to do this. I think God's calling some of you to academia. You maybe think you're going into the clergy, and maybe you should go. But I think some of you are being called to academia. And given that, God will give you the grace to handle it. Well, I hope you enjoyed this. Please come back. We can share some more paradigms.